Last week, one of my viewers, Leo from the Netherlands, posted a video of a planter that he made from a log. I thought it was pretty cool, and I told him, yeah, I bet my wife would like one, and he says, well, you should make her one. Well, this morning she asked if I had any shavings to put on some flowers she had planted, and I said, well, I don't have any right now other than some real fine ones from some glue-up work, but I could make you some. So I decided, well, let's do two things. Make some shavings and try to do what Leo did. And this is a piece of sweet gum, and it's kind of a triangle shape. It's 13 inches in diameter at the biggest, and it's a little over 12 at the longest, but it's kind of cut on an angle. So that'll clean up. And it actually runs pretty good at 300 RPMs, and I can do that. So I have a plan on leaving a natural edge up on the top and cutting a little bowl shape in it. But I think because it's not flat here, and I know I'm going to cut this away, I may take it out and saw some of this lower section away, and possibly it might be easier, but I actually took a cut on it. It really cuts pretty good, so I'll think about that for a while, and I'll be back shortly one way or another on what we're going to do. Well, I chainsawed this off, and to be honest with you, I don't think it was worth it. I want to get this bottom flattened out and start shaping this. I think I can still get 300 RPMs. Yeah, actually about 350. I'll start on just doing the bottom here. I'm going to take my 5/8 bowl gouge and start cutting this way because I want to leave a lot of this bark up here. I'm in low range, and I'm doing 377. It really runs pretty nice. Alright, let's see if I can give you a better view without blocking it. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Okay, I'm going to do one more cleanup cut here, and what I like to do is when I'm cutting out here where there's all this air space, it'll make it bounce if you ride the bevel too much. When you get back over here, then you can do it. So I just take it away from it just a little bit, get the cut started, and as soon as I know I'm back on the wood, I can relax that a little bit and let it get a little bit closer. I set the tool rest up parallel to that cut so I can use it to help guide it along. This is what it's going to sound like if you're on the bevel. It's going to do that. When you get over here, it won't. So I'm going to find my cut back on it. There's probably better ways, but that's how I do it when I can. Sometimes it's not all that easy to find the cut and maintain it like that. So now a little more shaping here, and I think we're ready to flip it around. Well, I took it out and I'm going to flip it now. And I didn't do very much sanding, just a little bit. I'm not sure how much sanding I'll actually do on this. But I needed a way to relocate it. So before I took it out, I was able to cut this recess in here. And I measured this faceplate and it goes in there. And that recess will help lock it in place. So we'll get the screws on it. We'll get it back on the lathe and start cutting away, and the end grain of this is really hard. Seems like it's harder than it was a year ago when I cut the first piece. Well, as you see, I have it flipped around, and I'm going to mark approximately where I want the opening to be. It's not going to leave a lot, but I want to leave that shape, and I make it deep enough. Guess we can get enough dirt in there to grow a plant. So I'm going to actually start with my round carbide on this, because I know it's pretty hard. It runs pretty good. It's out just a little bit from the way I had it the other way, but it's still got 500 RPMs. So once I got an area flattened, I switched to a bowl gouge. I do switch back and forth between the carbide and the bowl gouge. That straight end grain is extremely hard. Alright, let's cut it away. So I'm going to go ahead and drill this out, and I will still try to get down in here and hold it while I cut the rest of it. I'm using an 1.1/8" Forstner bit here. And here I switched to a 2 1/8" Forstner bit. So here I had the cone center up against the piece, and I'm using a carbide cutter to remove what was left in the center. So after removing that center section, I think I'm all done. So I decided to use the negative rake scraper and clean it up. But I find out a little bit later I'm not really done. Alright, I'm going to get my Sandiflex ready, and I'll do that into the bark, and then I'll just finish sanding, and I'll come back when all that is finished. It's the next morning and I'm making a little change here. I asked if she had anything that I could put in there, and she just happened to have this pot that's had flowers in it before. I don't know if it's made for that, but that's what it's going to be used for. And it just needs to go a little deeper. And the rim on here actually will fit around that. So what I'm going to do now, and I'll show you some of that, but it also will be a little bit slow. We're just going to cut that deeper until that fits. Well, that was quite a chore, cutting this, and it fits. I want to make sure that it's not tight in there. Alright, I just finished sanding with 80 grit, and that is all I'm going to do to it. And it's going to be covered, but I just want to give it some protection. So this is my Danish oil. I have just a little bit of the Danish oil left in here, and I'm going to go ahead and use it. I don't want to put it back in the can. So we'll put it here on the inside. Alright, I'll let this dry, and after that I'll get it off the faceplate, and I'm just going to call this one done. Well, I finished the sweet gum planter box, and I'm going to show it to you like this for a few seconds, just so you can get a perspective of how big it actually is. It's pretty hefty. It was over 30 pounds before I started turning it, but I don't know what it is now. Anyways, I'm going to set it down and I'll show you more what it looks like. Okay, here it is. So it's about 10 inches tall, and it's about 13 inches widest on the top and about 11 at the narrow spot, and that base is a little over 8 inches, and it tapers down into here, and this is left very natural looking. I want it to look very natural, and with all this bark on here it sure does. And this top edge is from what the weather did to it. That's all weathered. This piece sat outside. I decided I didn't like the sweet gum except for places that had spalted, and I wasn't going to turn it. Ironically, this piece sat in the weather uncovered for a year, and it spalted from one end to the other. Duh. So it has cracks in it from sitting out. This is all darkened from the weather. I put a hole all the way through it. I'm going to put a hole in that planter box so the water can drain out through the bottom. Do I expect this to stay out there and last for many years? Probably not. But you know, as it weathers in a natural state, that's going to be fine. I think it's going to really be nice. There it is. It's got a plant in it. It's officially a planter box. When it stops raining, I'm going to take this out and put it right where it was growing, right next to the Oklahoma redbud that we have planted there. That's not where it's going to stay because I want it under a cover of sorts and not in the direct sun, but there it is. I like it. I hope you enjoyed the process of making a planter from a tree from your yard. Special thanks to Leo Gijssel for giving me this idea. I'll put a link to his channel. Be sure to check him out. This is an Oklahoma redbud that is now growing right where the sweet gum had been growing. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so. And for those of you who are, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment. I read them all. Also, share the video. It really does help to get it more views. Thanks again, and until the next time, see you later.